Hello everyone. I hope you're enjoying your spring break. I just want to quickly go through this pedigree project. It's all here, but I'll just kind of touch on certain things. So the first two parts are pretty simple. Just a formal cover letter. Even if you're doing electronically, just include that because I think it is in the rubric. Just a quick intro about yourself. I found these actually the most interesting part while grading this assignment. I've learned things about students I've never known. So again, I gave you some ideas, but just anything that you think I would find interesting or that you would like to tell me. Then the next part is a data table and then the 3 pedigrees. Now it does say data table 1, 2, and 3, but as long as you have it organized, I've seen students make it really nicely like one data table where they just include all the people in which they're collecting data. Even if they can't get all the data, they have all of them listed, and then their 3 traits. So like tongue roll is one, like if they can roll their tongue or not, freckles, and then they just go through PTC paper and just write what the results were. So super taster, super bitter taster, yes, freckles, and just so you're organizing the information before you even attempt your pedigree, and you can always just go back to it as you're making your pedigree. And then the pedigrees, I'll kind of go through what I'm expecting later on for that. So the requirements are all here. So it says at least 3 generations and 12 individuals. If you can't get to that, that is fine. I just wanted it a little bit larger, but again, if you're doing like the PTC paper or just things where you can't contact all the individuals, that is completely fine. So you're expected to have 3 pedigrees, so you need to have a title for each, just so I know what trait that you're kind of going through each generation, so I need that title. And then when you're picking a pedigree, try to choose a trait that affects some but not all. So like if everyone has brown eyes, you're going to shade everyone. It's not like you actually have to chart through the genotypes, because that's kind of the big part of the project is can you figure out and analyze these pedigrees to figure out what the possible genotypes are. So again, affects some but not all. Each generation, again, should be marked Roman numerals, and all individuals in the same generation should be together in a horizontal level. And so, again, neat does matter. If it's scattered and you can't tell cousins because they should all be in the same line, you need to work on the neatness of that. And then this is the big one, is just the genotypes. So I'll go through how to, again, figure out genotypes within a pedigree, but the big thing is be careful, leave a question mark if you don't know. Don't assume that you know the genotype. You have to know it by looking at, pieces within it. So just leave a question mark if there's any doubt in your mind. And then the last thing is just highlight where you are in the pedigree so I know where you're at. And then when you're titling it, make sure that you know what kind of trait it is. Is it a dominant trait? Is it recessive? Is it sex-linked? And I think go with the complete dominant single gene, because when it gets too many genes, incomplete, it gets kind of confusing on how to do that. So I have a list, if you look within the document, of single gene, and you could Google it, of some easier characteristics to look through your family. So that's just the requirements of the pedigree. So now if I'm working through pedigree, I can tell right away that this is recessive, just at how it skips certain generations. So I should include, that it's a recessive trait. I should also include what is this trait that I'm looking for. So it could be earlobes, and I'm looking for attached. And so I have my title. And so I know exactly that you're shading in the attached earlobe, since that is a recessive for that particular trait. So right now, since I know this, first I should always label my generations, and I should even mark each individual, so then I can always refer to the people if I need to. So then as I go through, I need to list the genotypes, but since these are recessive and I'm shading in recessive, I can then just write the genotype immediately. So now I can use that to figure out the other individuals within this pedigree. So little r, they had to receive 1 from mom, 1 from dad. So I know that these individuals then from generation 2 have to have a little r, but they're not showing the trait. So I should include that dominant allele, so I know that for sure. Now, these individuals, the siblings, I'm not quite sure, so I can leave a dash, or I could even do a question mark, because I don't know, are they big R, big R, big R, little r? I'm not quite sure, I can't guess. So then up here at the first generation, I can see that grandma had little r, little r. So she's only able to give that to each of the siblings. So I know that, but they are not expressing the trait, so they have to have the dominant allele. And then I know grandpa has to have that. Now looking at generation 2 and all the siblings, how none of them have the recessive trait, it'd be easy to say, oh, he's got to be bigger. But it's a chance event. So instead of doing that, I'm going to do a question, because I can't assume. It's easy to tell the second generation because I can use the first and the third to fill in the blank, but I'm stuck here. I'm not going to make that assumption, so I'll just leave a question mark. So then this is my pedigree, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Email me. If you can't do the assignment, I have the alternative. Email me. I will make this due probably the first week we come back. I'll just make it Friday or Thursday, any day that you want to turn it in. I'll grade it ahead of time too. So good luck and have a great break.